Hello. Let's talk about weeks 9 to 14 for me. This was an extremely stressful couple of weeks. Week 9 was okay, still pretty tired, really tender breasts, like to the point that even getting dressed in the morning sometimes would hurt. Or if you accidentally brushed against someone or something, it was very painful. I was still getting morning sickness and not feeling super great. By this point, I was starting to, a week around 10, 11, I started feeling just sick of being so sick all the time. And it did start to kind of wear me down a little bit. Week 10 did bring on a bit of a scare for us. I had started getting some cramping. Not too bad, to be honest. It wasn't super bad, but it was a little out of place from what I had been feeling. And then I noticed I did have some pink spotting, which from talking to my doctor and doing like online reading in books and stuff is normal. A lot of women will, throughout their whole pregnancy, they'll tend to spot pink spotting or brown spotting kind of regularly when their period normally would be. So I didn't think much of it. I woke up in the morning and I had a bit of blood in my underwear. So I'm going to put on a pad and I'm going to kind of monitor it throughout the day. And I did have to change the pad once throughout the day. And then it turned to like bright red, like it was new, fresh blood. I knew it could be many things, but I called a service here we have in Ontario called telehealth. And it pretty much gives you 24/7 access to nurse practitioners, doctors, pharmacists, things like that. You call them, ask a question, and they kind of advise you from there. So she did suggest that I go see a doctor in the next 4 hours, which unfortunately meant having to go to ER because by that time it was 8 o'clock at night, no clinics were open anymore, or they weren't accepting patients anymore for the day. So we went to the ER, and my poor husband, I had to call him at work, tell him to meet me at the hospital when he was done, and so we went up. We spent the whole night there. They did blood tests, they did blood pressure tests, urine samples, all of that.
Hi.
Wow.
It's week 10.
I really.
So, we had a little bit of scare yesterday, and so we went to the emergency room. And that's actually the real reason why we're so tired right now. So, we're heading back to the hospital, and we're going to double check, and they're going to do... What are they doing?
We're going to do our first ultrasound. I was scheduled to do it in 2 weeks, but because of my scare, so now the blood tests all look okay, which is reassuring. Like my HCG is where it should be. Now we are just going to do an ultrasound to make sure it's not like an ectopic pregnancy, but the doctor said he didn't think it was because I have no like pain anywhere, and to make sure, you know, the baby is in the right place and that their heart is beating. So terrifying but exciting all at the same time. Because it was ER, we were not allowed to see the ultrasound. My husband wasn't even allowed to come in the room with me. It was just me and the tech. So the doctor who then came in said again, you know, your blood levels are good, but you actually have a blood clot in between the uterus and the placenta. Subchorionic bleeding. But what had happened is the placenta had torn away from the uterus, and at one point it had caused a tear. The blood had clotted in between the placenta and the uterus.
So, we got good news. We got bad news.
We got bad news?
Bad news
Is we're hungry?
is that I might not be able to make it home before work.
Yeah.
The good news, though, is that
Baby
everything is good.
Healthy. Baby is measuring where the baby should be measuring for 10 weeks and 1 day. I do have something called subchorionic bleeding. It can lead to a miscarriage, but she said because of how small it is,
And because of where you are right now?
Because of how far along I am already, and because of how strong the baby's heartbeat is, she does not think that is likely at all. It's okay, and we got to see the baby for the first time. So that was exciting.
Yeah. So, all happy.
She broke the rules.
A little bit. Thank you, though.
They can't print it out, but she stole my phone and took some pictures for me. So
Yeah.
huge relief. Because there were no active tears or bleeding anymore. It was just the blood clot. She said that was a good sign. It was really scary seeing the blood, especially because you've been wanting it for so long, and to see that was just terrifying. But Fortunately for us, it did turn out okay. Around week 12, I started getting little bits of pregnancy brain. For example, I'd pour myself a glass of juice. I'd put the juice in the cupboard where the mugs go, and I would put the mug and the juice back in the fridge. Or I had just taken out some garlic bread from the oven and I grabbed it to put it on a plate. No, it was hot. So little things like that. I did start getting first cravings. I was really craving Arby's, which you shouldn't really have, and olives. I really wanted those two things all the time. And my aversion to eggs continued through this time period. Around this time, we also told our family and friends.
Today I am making some cookies. I've already made the cookies. I'm icing some cookies. This Chuck is going to announce to his work that we are having a baby. And so we're just going to do simple cookies. So I didn't actually have a gingerbread man mold this size. So I just took some cardboard, clean cardboard, and cut it out with a knife. It took me a while, but I did it. And these are just round circle ones. And we're just going to put like blue or pink icing on these ones. And here they are all finished. We've got the pink and blue ones there. And then all the babies with the diapers.
And then family and friends, we did different ways. Some friends we called, some we did Facebook, some we did Skype chats. And my family we told with these neat little kind of place cards that had their new titles. So like my mom had grandma on it, my dad had grandpa, my brother had Uncle Mike, my grandparents had great grandma and grandpa, my uncle had great uncle, and we put it under the place at Thanksgiving. So I will link you to our daily vlog that we do. We did a whole video to announce it to all of our family and friends, and that also included the reactions from our family and friends that we told kind of before everybody else. So if you want to see that and how we announce it, I'll leave a link below. I'll also link it up here if I can, so you can kind of see how we announced it. It was fun. It was fun to make, and everyone was so excited and so happy, and there was just so much love. It kind of had made the last 14 weeks feel better. I started feeling a little bit better around this time. I was still a little bit nauseous, but I had started feeling better. So it was very exciting to finally share it with our family and friends and just feel the excitement that everybody had. So that's it for my quick 9 to 14 week update. Some scares, some excitement, and we'll see you in the next video.